Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here today. If you're joining us, it means you're a focused learner looking for direct, actionable info, and you've definitely come to the right place. Today, we're tackling a household nightmare that escalates way faster than you might think. We're going to transform a potential laundry disaster into a totally manageable, step-by-step survival guide. We'll break down everything from the exact causes of those stubborn blockages to the very moment you need to wave the white flag and bring in the cavalry.
So picture this, right? You just rain a heavy load of laundry, but instead of that fresh, clean scent of success, you're greeted by a frustrating, totally gross reality. Your washer cycle backed up. There's pooling water everywhere, your clothes are coming out damp and heavily soiled, and there are these deeply unpleasant, lingering odors just filling the room. It's one of those plumbing problems that literally goes from 0 to 100 in the span of a single spin cycle. So how does this happen? And more importantly, how do we fix it without making things completely worse?
Okay, let's dive straight into our game plan. 1. Anatomy of a clog. 2. Safe DIY troubleshooting. 3. Knowing your DIY limits. And 4. When to call a pro.
Starting off with Section 1, Anatomy of a Clog. Before we can actually solve the problem, we've got to look at the everyday villains causing all this chaos in your pipes. It's usually a combination of what naturally goes down the drain and what gets dislodged over months or even years. We're talking massive lint buildup, human and pet hair, and shedding fabric fibers that collect tightly in the washer's drain hose or standpipe. But you know what the real silent killer is? Detergent and fabric softener residue. Over time, these form highly sticky deposits inside the pipes. Those sticky walls basically act like a trap for small, stray objects. Think baby garments or those mysterious missing socks, along with thick grease and grime tracked in from heavily soiled laundry. It's like a giant, gross puzzle coming together to block your pipes.
And hey, sometimes it's not even your fault. The house itself can be a massive contributor. In a lot of homes, older plumbing infrastructure or improper pipe venting makes these clogs significantly more likely to happen. If the pipes aren't breathing right, or if they're decades old and corroded on the inside, well, that slow drainage you've been kind of ignoring, it's going to worsen exponentially, just trapping all those fibers and sticky detergents we just talked about.
Moving right along to Section 2, Safe DIY Troubleshooting.
The good news is you are definitely not powerless in this situation. Think of me as a veteran contractor standing right beside you. If your washer is actively backing up, step 1 is absolute. Turn off the water supply and do not, under any circumstances, run any additional wash cycles. You will literally just cause a flood. Once the machine is completely off, move to step 2 and check the drain hose connection behind the washer. You're looking for any kinks, bends, or improper installation that might be restricting the flow. Finally, step 3. If your setup has a standpipe access cap, take it off and manually clear out any visible debris, lint, or hair right there at the surface.
Now, if that manual clear-out doesn't do the trick, don't panic. A simple, really inexpensive household plumber snake or a handheld drain auger can be incredibly effective here. But the absolute key word to remember is reachable. If you gently feed the auger into the drain and you can hook the blockage within the first few feet of the plumbing, you can usually safely pull that gunk right out and solve your slow drainage issue on the spot. But here is where we need to be incredibly careful. I need you to hear this loud and clear. Avoid mixing chemical cleaners, and never rely on repeated chemical pouring as a first-line solution. Even products with big, friendly, safe for drains labels on the bottle can react dangerously with one another or with the gunk in your pipes, actually eating away at your plumbing rather than the clog itself. If you absolutely must use a cleaner for odor and buildup, follow the manufacturer's guidance to a T and stick strictly to gentle enzyme or bacterial-based drain products.
Which brings us to Section 3. Knowing your DIY limits. While it is super great to be handy around the house, we have to draw a hard line between what's safe to handle and when you are completely out of your depth. A simple, reachable surface blockage, you are right there in the safe DIY zone. But if you start hearing deep gurgling noises coming from the pipes, or if you've got slow draining happening in multiple fixtures across the house, like say your bathroom sink backs up when the washer drains, or if you clear a clog and it comes right back a week later, yeah, that blockage is much farther down the line.
This is a pretty critical question to ask yourself right now. Does your washer empty into a shared drain? Because if your washer uses a shared standpipe or ties directly into the main drain line that other sinks or toilets use, a localized issue can spread like wildfire. What starts as just damp clothes can rapidly escalate into a home-wide plumbing threat, affecting literally every single fixture connected to that shared line.
And that leads perfectly into Section 4, when to call a pro.
We need to establish exactly what the professional threshold looks like. You must call a licensed pro immediately if you see any of these high-stakes, severe signs. I mean it. If you have raw sewage backing up into your laundry room, persistent standing water that absolutely refuses to recede, a washer that repeatedly trips its cycle because it simply can't evacuate the water, or evidence of active leaks spraying around the drain connections, those scenarios are massive red flags indicating clogged fence, main sewer line blockages, or severe pipe damage that standard homeowner tools just cannot safely address.
Bringing in a pro isn't just about convenience. It's about the pure logic of using heavy-duty, specialized equipment. They use things like power rodding, hydrojetting, or even video inspection cameras to locate the exact obstruction. They can clear those deep blockages effectively, identify the hidden venting or installation defects we talked about earlier, and ultimately, they save you thousands of dollars by protecting your expensive washing machine's internal drain pump from completely burning out.
Of course, once the pro fixes it, we want to make sure we keep the cavalry away in the future, right? So here are your actionable prevention strategies. First up, contain small items like baby garments and stray socks in mesh laundry bags before washing them. Second, diligently wipe down any lint filters your machine might have after every single load. And third, stop overloading your washer with excessive detergent. Sticking to these maintenance routines will dramatically reduce how quickly those sticky residues and stubborn fibers accumulate in your plumbing. But look, if you have already hit that severe threshold we talked about today, if the gurgling has started, the standing water is pooling, or you suspect a mainline issue, this is the number provided by our source today, Dr. Drain, 224-355-8929. When the problem escalates past that safe DIY zone, dialing a licensed pro is for sure the ultimate and safest resolution.
So I want to leave you with this final thought. Look at your own laundry routine today and ask yourself, are you truly balancing safe DIY efforts with a clear understanding of those call a pro thresholds? Knowing exactly when to reach for the drain snake and when to just step back and pick up the phone is absolutely the best way to avoid catastrophically expensive consequences for your home. I really hope this explainer has left you feeling empowered, informed, and ready to inspect your own setup. Thank you so much for joining me to master this topic, and as always, keep on learning.